My name is Veronica Castle, and today I'm going to be talking to you guys about some of my travel experiences. Travel has been something that's been really important in my life, and like Elise, I really love traveling, and I just love learning about other people and cultures around the world. So instead of telling you about every trip I've been on, I'm just going to pick a couple of the most important that I feel have changed my life the most. So my first trip that was really life-changing was a trip to Rio, Brazil. And I actually got to teach English for 6 weeks there, and it was really focused on conversational English. So we would read the Bible, and I would ask them questions to make sure they were understanding what they were reading, and to make sure they could really answer a question and make sense of questions that were being asked in English. And I learned a lot from this trip because it was my first time living outside the United States, and I grew up in a small town in Oklahoma. So it was really eye-opening to know that the entire world isn't just like Oklahoma. And one of my favorite things from this trip was that they would really tell me a lot about their culture, and that included food. So sometimes they would bring me homemade stuff that they had made, and like Clarissa, I am a huge chocolate fanatic, so they would bring me these little chocolate treats that were rolled in sprinkles, and they taught me how to make them, and they would bring them to me like every week, so that was really awesome. The second life-changing trip I went on was to the capital of Honduras, and I was only there a week, but I had never seen more poor people. Most of them literally had nothing, and we actually had the opportunity to build houses for them, and most of the people we built houses for were single moms that had quite a few children, and these houses were barely rooms. They were made out of just wooden planks with a tin roof on top. And they had no floor, no indoor water, no plumbing, no electricity. So it was so humbling to see people so thankful for having such little possessions. And these people would cry when we first gave them the keys to their house, and they would just ask to pray with us, and they would just wanted to hug us and thank us and give something to us, but they had nothing besides just their joy, and that was reward enough for us just to be able to give them something that meant so much to them. My last trip I want to talk about was study abroad in Europe, and like Paula, I got to visit a lot of the main cities in Europe like Rome and Paris and London, and this trip I actually lived in Vienna, Austria for a month, and then spent a month in London and a month in traveling all over Italy. So this trip was purely educational. We learned a lot of history, and we got to go to every single museum, it seemed like, in all of Europe. But we just learned so much and got to learn so much history, and that was really cool to me because I love history and I love getting to learn about where my ancestors came from. And I actually ended up getting to go to 10 countries in just 6 weeks, so we fit a lot into such a short amount of time. So in conclusion, I've told you about 3 of my biggest life-changing trips and showed you that travel is seriously important in my life, and I really hope to have the opportunity to continue to travel in